Hello everyone, welcome to the second lecture on projection of solids. In this video I am going to discuss about when to calculate the beta angle and how to calculate beta angle, and I am going to take up a few problems on projection of solids. First of all, let us see the conditions when we need to calculate the beta angle before starting the final step of the solution or before taking the inclination with respect to VP. The first condition is when the pyramid is resting on either its base edge or a corner or a slant edge or on a triangular face on HP, and if the axis inclination is given with respect to VP, we need to calculate the beta angle. In the next condition, when the prism is resting on either its base edge or a corner and the axis inclination is given with respect to VP. If the axis inclination is given with respect to VP, we need to calculate the beta angle. Similarly, if we take a condition of cylinder, if it is resting on a point of the circumference of its base on HP, and if the axis inclination is given with respect to VP, we need to calculate the beta angle. Similar to that of cylinder, in case of cone also, if it is resting on one of its point of the circumference or on one of its end generators on HP, and if the axis inclination is given with respect to VP, we need to calculate the beta angle. In all the four conditions, if you look into the axis length in the second top view, if you look into the axis length in the second top view, it will be lesser than its true length. The axis length will be lesser than its true length, and hence beta angle, that is apparent angle, is to be calculated to redraw the third top view in the last position. I'll take up a few examples to show why we need to calculate the beta angle. I'll show it with examples. And also you need to remember that beta angle will always be greater than the given angle. It means when you calculate the beta angle, always it will be greater than the given angle in the problem. Now let us take an example of a pentagonal pyramid resting on one of its corner of a base on HP, and its size is 25 mm and the axis size is 50 mm, and the given inclination is 40 degree with HP and 30 degree with VP. So this is the given condition. First we need to make sure that we need to check whether we need to calculate the beta angle or not. Here the given problem is resting on one of its corner, and the important thing is the axis inclination is given. Axis inclination is given with respect to VP. So we need to calculate the beta angle. I'll show you why. Here you can look into the solution. In the initial position we are going to draw the top view, and then we are going to get the front view. Here if you look into the axis length, it is 50 mm. The given axis length is 50 mm, that we are going to get in the initial view in the front view. And after drawing the second position, second condition, we are going to get the apparent length of the axis. Here you can look into the axis length O1, it is reduced to 38.3 mm from 50 mm. Hence this is a apparent length. Okay. Now here, before going to the next step, what we need to do, you need to redraw this second top view for a given angle. But here the axis length is apparent length, so we need to calculate the apparent angle to redraw this view. So we need to calculate the beta angle. So is it clear? When the axis length is reduced compared to that of initial length, and when we need to redraw this second top view, we need to calculate the beta angle. So if you calculate the beta angle, you are going to get it around 41 degree. That is, beta angle is greater than the given angle. Okay. Let us take one more example of a hexagonal pyramid resting on one of its base edges. The sides is 30 mm and the axis height is 70 mm, and once again you can see the axis inclination is given with respect to HP and VP. The axis is making an angle of 40 degree with HP and 30 degree with VP. Since the axis inclination is given with respect to VP, we need to calculate the beta angle. I'll show you why. Here, after drawing the initial position, we are going to draw the second view. When you draw the second view, you can observe the change in axis length. It is approximately around 50 mm, but initially it was 70 mm. So now to redraw this view, inclined at an angle of 30 degree, we are not able to, we can't take this as it is. We need to calculate the beta angle. Since it is an apparent length, we need to calculate the apparent angle beta. So here also the beta angle will be greater than the true length. So one thing you need to remember, when the axis length is reduced in the second top view, okay, compared to the initial height of the axis, we need to calculate the beta angle. Now let's take an example of a prism. Here a pentagonal prism is resting on one of its corner, and once again the axis inclination is given with respect to HP and VP. The initial length of the axis is 60 mm, and if you look into the second top view, the axis length is been reduced. Okay, from 60 it is reduced to 42. So we need to calculate the beta angle. Okay, the given inclination with VP is 30 degree, but the apparent angle what you are going to get is 46 degree. So for this 46 degree, we need to redraw the second top view. If you redraw it for 30 degree, then we are going to get a wrong solution. We need to draw it for a obtained beta angle. Now let us see the conditions where we need not calculate the beta angle. The first condition is when a solid, either it may be a pyramid, prism, cone or a cylinder, is resting on its base, edge or a corner or a slant edge or a triangular face or one of its point on the circumference on HP, and if the axis inclination is given as appears to be inclined. If the axis inclination is given as appears to be inclined at certain angle to VP, then need not to calculate the beta angle. If you look into the previous cases, here axis inclination is given as 30 degree to VP and so on. Okay, if instead of writing as 30 degree to giving as 30 degree to VP, if a word is added here as appears to be inclined at 30 degrees to VP, then it indicates that they are directly giving the apparent angle. So no need to calculate the beta angle if a word appears to be is given in the problem. Okay, and the next condition is when the prism or a pyramid is resting on its base, edge or a corner on HP, and if the inclination with respect to resting edge or the edge opposite to the resting corner is given with respect to VP, then also we need not to calculate the beta angle, because there will be no change in length of the edge in the second top view and with the first top view. I'll show you with an example here. I've taken example of a square pyramid of sides 35 mm and height 65 mm. Here in this problem, it is resting on one of its edges on HP, resting on one of its base edges on HP, and the axis inclination is given with respect to HP. And here you can see inclination with VP is given with respect to the edge on which the solid rests. Here it is not given with respect to the axis of the pyramid. If in the same problem also, if the axis inclination is given with respect to VP, then we need to calculate the beta angle. But here they are not given the axis inclination with respect to VP. Instead of that, they are given the edge on which the solid rests is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. It means the edge on which the solid rests is BC. If you look into the edge length BC in the first view, it is 35 mm. Similarly, if you look into the edge length in the second top view, it is once again 35 mm. There is no change in the edge length, so no need to take the beta angle. Directly for the given angle of 30 degree, you can place the resting edge and you can redraw this view. So here, if the given condition is like, instead of giving axis inclination, if it is given as a resting edge inclination, then no need to calculate the beta angle. Now let us see how to calculate the beta angle. I am going to take an example of a pentagonal pyramid resting on one of its corner. Okay, here this is a situation. In such a way, you need to calculate a beta angle, because you can see here the second top view length, that is the axis length in the second top view, is reduced compared to the initial view. So you need to calculate the beta angle. So I'll show you, I'll explain you step by step how to calculate the beta angle. In the first step, draw the horizontal line for any suitable length and mark a point O on it. Here, draw a horizontal line. and mark a point O on the horizontal line. This is the first step. And in the second step, draw the true length line, that is the true length of the axis from the point O for a given inclination of 30 degree, and name the line as O1, and also draw the locus at the end point O1. Here if you look into the question, the axis length is 50 millimeter. Okay, now you need to draw the axis length for given inclination. Here the given inclination with respect to VP is 30 degrees. So I draw a line of 50 millimeter inclined at 30 degree from the point O. Okay, now name the end point of the line as O1, and at the point O1 draw the locus line. This locus line should be parallel to the horizontal line. Okay, so this is the second step. Okay, in the second step we need to draw the true length of the axis, that is 50 millimeter line inclined at a given angle, that is a true angle of 30 degree, and at the end of the line, okay, you name it as point O1 and draw the locus at that point. Then in the next step, draw an arc for the length of the axis measuring in the second top view such that it cuts the locus drawn in the previous step at O2. Okay, now we have drawn the actual length of the axis for 50 millimeter at an angle of 30 degree. Now you need to cut an arc on the locus line taking the apparent length of the axis. The apparent length of the axis is 38.3 millimeter. If you look into the second top view, the apparent length of the axis is 38.3 millimeter. So you need to take that axis length and you need to cut an arc on the locus that we have drawn in the previous step, and you name that point as O2. Okay, now you connect O to O2. Now after connecting O and O2, now measure the angle of the apparent length line O and O2 with respect to the horizontal line. Now you measure the apparent length line. O2 is apparent length line, right, which we have obtained for the second top view length of 38.3 millimeter. And if you measure this inclination with respect to horizontal line, you are going to get a beta angle. Here you can see it is 40.74. That is what we have obtained here. Approximately we round it out for 41 degree. Okay, so this is how we are going to calculate the beta angle. Now hope you are aware of when to calculate the beta angle and when to not consider the beta angle and how to calculate the beta angle. Now let us take a problem number 2. It's a pentagonal pyramid of sides 25 millimeter of base and 50 millimeter height, resting on one of its corners of a base on HP, such that axis makes an angle of 40 degree with HP and 30 degree with VP. Draw the projections. Now if you look into this question, you need to make out whether we need to calculate the beta angle or not. First let us list all the given data. The given type of solid is a pentagonal pyramid. The given sides is 25 millimeter. The given height is 50 millimeter, and it is resting on one of its corners of a base, and axis inclination is 40 degree with HP and 30 degree with VP. Since here you need to decide, since the axis inclination is given with respect to VP, this is important. Since the axis inclination is given with respect to VP, that is 30 degree to VP, we need to calculate the beta angle. Now let us see how to solve the given problem. The given problem is a pentagonal pyramid resting on one of its base corner. So I am going to place that resting corner towards the right side, and I am going to draw the front and top views of a pyramid at this position. Okay. Now I have already drawn the top view of a pentagonal pyramid. Just I have drawn the polygon, okay, and I have named the resting corner as point A and other corners as B, C, D and E. So this is the resting corner. A is the resting corner. I have taken A as resting corner. And now I'm going to mark the center of the pentagon. I'm going to select any one of the corner and the center of the opposite edge. I'm going to draw the construction line. Similarly, I'm going to select one more corner and the center of the opposite edge, and I'm going to connect it so that the coinciding of these two construction lines will get us a center, and I'm going to name it as point O. Now I'm going to connect O to all the corners, which indicates the slant edge of the pyramid. I am making it dark because in case of pyramid, all the slant edges will be visible in the top view. Okay. Now here, since the axis will be having two endpoints, one is at the apex and other is at the base. I have named the base point as O, and I am going to name the apex point as O1. Okay, and looking from the top, O1 will be visible, and O, which is at the base of the pyramid, will be invisible. So I am going to place it inside the bracket. Now project all these points to the front view. Draw the projection lines from all the points. So now this is point A dash, and this is B dash and E dash, and this is C dash and D dash, and this is O dash. Okay, now the given axis length is 50 millimeter. I am going to mark that point, and I am going to draw the axis with a chain thin line. Now I am going to connect all the base corners with the apex. This is O1 dash. Okay, so this completes the front view and the top view of a given pyramid. And don't forget to do the dimensioning. This is 25 millimeter and the axis height is 50 millimeter. Now this completes the initial view. Now in the second step, since the given problem is resting on one of its base corner, we have taken A as resting corner, and now here A is the resting corner and the axis is making an angle of 40 degree with HP. Okay, the axis is making an angle of 40 degree with HP. And in the last problem only we have discussed, if the axis is making an angle of 40 degree, then the base will be inclined at an angle of 90 minus 40. So the base inclination will be 50 degree. So we are going to draw the base for an angle of 50 degree, and we are going to redraw this view in such a way that axis will make an angle of 40 degrees. Base is making an angle of 50, axis will be making an angle of 40 degrees since they are perpendicular to each other. So now I am going to rotate, I am going to tilt the given solid in such a way that axis is making an angle of 40 degree. So this is the required position. Okay, and in this position I am going to take two more views, front view and the top view. So I'll start with drawing the front view. I am going to mark a corner, the resting corner A dash here. Okay, and I am going to draw the base which is inclined at 50 degree. Okay, now you mark all the points of the base from the initial view. This is A dash to C dash, D dash, and then A dash to O dash, then A dash to B dash, E dash. Now you mark all these points. This is C dash and D dash, and this is O dash, and this is B dash and E dash. Now I am going to draw the axis which will be perpendicular to the base. Axis height is 50 millimeter. So I am going to draw the axis here. So now axis will be making an angle of 40 degree. So yeah, 40 degree. Now you connect the baseline. You name this as O dash. Connect apex to all the base points. So now here you can make out axis is making an angle of 40 degree. You need to show the axis inclination making an angle of 40 degree. Show the axis inclination which is 40 degree. Now you project all these points from the front view to top view. Project all the points from top to front view. Sorry, from front view to top view. After projecting all these points from the front view, project the points from the previous top view to get the coinciding points. So here this is point O, and this will be point O1, and this will be point A. And then to get the remaining points, project E, then project D, similarly project C, then project B. Name all these points. This is point A, and then B, and this is point C, this is point D, and this will be point E. Now we need to apply the rule of visibility. According to it, first you connect all the boundary points D to C, then D to E, and then E to O, and then O to B, and B to C. So now we have connected all the boundary points. Here, since the problem is resting on one of its corner, which is A is the resting corner, so this is the present position of a solid. Okay, resting on one of its corner A, and the axis making an angle of 40 degree. And in this condition, we have drawn the front view. Now, for drawing the top view, to check the visible and invisible edges, here A is the resting corner, so obviously it will be invisible. Any resting edge or corner will be invisible. And here you can see the remaining slant edges. Now let us see the slant edges. O to D is clearly visible, O to C is clearly visible, and even O to E is visible, and O to B is visible. Here you can check. Already they are in the boundary. O to E is visible, O to B is visible, and also O to D and O to C are visible. So I am going to connect it with the dark line. Now here you can observe O to A to E and A to B are invisible. Okay, the base edge AE and AB are invisible since it is covered by the solid. Okay, since the edge is covered by the solid, you are not able to see the edge AB as well as AE, and also you are not able to see the slant edge O to A. So now first I'll connect the slant edges. O to C and O to D is clearly visible. Okay, it is nearer to the observer, so make it dark. Then A to E and A to B is invisible. The base edges, these two base edges are invisible since the solid is covering those two edges, and also O to A is invisible. Okay. So now to show the axis, you can show here. You can show the axis at this place. Okay. Now in the last condition, now here you can see this is the previous condition where we have written the front and the top views. That is, here we have rested the pyramid on one of its corners, and we have satisfied the condition with respect to HP, that is axis making an angle of 40 degree with HP. The remaining thing is axis is making an angle of 30 degree with VP. Now the axis will be making an angle of 30 degree. If this is a VP, here VP will be here, and axis will be making an angle of 30 degree with VP. So this is the final condition required, and in this condition we need to get the front and top views. Okay. So here, as we already discussed, we need to calculate the beta angle for this problem. Okay. Since the axis inclination is given with respect to VP, here you can observe the initial length of the axis is 50 millimeter. Okay. But if you observe here in the second top view, the axis length has been reduced from 50 millimeter to around 38 millimeter. So we need to take out we need to find out the beta angle. The beta angle can be calculated as I shown earlier. Okay, here it can be calculated by the following steps. Okay, first you need to draw the horizontal line and you need to mark a point O on the horizontal line, and then you need to draw the true length of the axis. Okay, 50 millimeter. Okay, draw a line 50 millimeter inclined at the given angle, that is 30 degree, and you need to name it as O1. After that you need to cut an arc for a apparent length of the axis, that is for 38.2, around 38 millimeter you want to get. For that you need to cut an arc on the locus, and then you need to name a point O2. After connecting O with O2, we are going to measure this inclination so that you are going to get 41 degree, which is the required beta angle. Okay, this beta angle can be calculated in this way, or you can measure it directly here also. I'll show you how to calculate the beta angle directly while solving the problem. Okay, so you can also obtain the beta angle in this manner also. Okay, after this you can directly redraw this second top view inclined at 41 degree, or else you can also calculate beta angle in another way. I'll show you how. Since the given angle is 30 degree, draw a 30 degree line. It's better to start at least little bit below XY line. If you start from here, then there may be chances of this second top view getting overlapped with the XY line. Always you better start away from the XY line for taking the required angle. So first I am going to draw the 30 degree line, which is the given inclination. Okay, on this 30 degree line I am going to mark a point O. I am going to mark point or I can mark as O1 because I am taking this point as a reference here, O1, and we know that first we need to mark the given axis length. It is 50 millimeter. Okay, cut an arc. Let this be the point O1. From O1 cut an arc, and this point will be O. Let this be O1 and O. And at the point O, you draw the locus. The same way what I have discussed already to get the beta angle. But instead of drawing it separately, I am writing it here itself. Okay. After drawing the locus, now what you need to do, you need to measure the apparent length of the axis. That is, it measures somewhat around 38 millimeter. Now cut an arc on the locus and you name this as O2. So now if you connect O2 with O1, so that is the required beta angle. Now I am going to connect it with the chain thin line, the required beta angle. So if you measure this, you are going to get around 41 degree. Okay, you are going to get around 41 degree, which we have already obtained by this method. Okay, both will get you the same inclination, but instead of doing it separately, you can also do it here itself. Now we need to redraw this second top view in such a way that axis is making an angle of 41 degree. So let us show the inclination here. Show the axis inclination here. This is 41 degree, and earlier the given angle is This is the given angle 30 degree and this is the obtained beta angle 41 degree. So now you need to redraw the given, you need to redraw the second top view such a way that axis is making an angle of 41 degree. Already you have drawn the axis. Now let us get the remaining points. I am going to take a reference of O and O1. This O2 is nothing but O1 here. Okay, I am going to take a reference of these 2 points and construct the remaining points. Okay, let me start with getting point A. It is on the axis. Okay, so this is point A, and then measure O to E and O to B, both will be at the same length. So this is the about O to A and O to B. Now I am going to take from measure O1 to E and O1 to E, both will be at the same distance, and I am going to cut an arc here. So this will be, I am going to redraw this B in such a way that this will be A, B, and this will be E, and to get remaining points C and D. So measure O to D and O to C. So from here O to C and O to D. Now measure O1 to D and O1 to C. So from here we cut an arc. Okay, so this is point C and this is point D. Now you connect all the boundary points. We are redrawing the second top view such a way that axis is making an angle of 41 degree. Okay, that's the apparent angle. Now A to E is a dotted line. Similarly, A to B is also a dotted line, which are invisible in the second top view, and also O to A is invisible, show it with a dotted line. Okay, now we have redrawn this second top view for an angle of 41 degree of the axis. Now project all these top view points to the front view to get the final required view. So now I'm going to first project O1. I'm going to project O here, the apex point. Okay, so you can name this as O1 dash. Then I'll project the base point. Here I have named it as O2, but here it will be O dash. Okay, I'm going to project O, the base point of the axis, and here also I'm going to project the base of the axis, and let me name it as O dash, and let us project the remaining points. Point A is here and A is on XY line, So directly I'm going to project A and I'm going to mark it as A dash. Now project point B. Similarly project point E. Here B and E are on the same line. Project B and E. So name this as point B dash and this will be E dash. Now we project C and D. Here in the front C and D are on the same line. Project C and D. Similarly project point C from the top view and D from the top view. Okay, now this is point C dash and this is point D dash. The first thing is to connect all the boundary points. According to the rule of visibility, you connect all the boundary points. O2, E, and then E2, A, A2, B, B to C, and then C to O. Okay, I have connected all the boundary points. Now the observer is here. Let us look for the invisible corners and the edges. Now the nearest, first let us mark all the base points, base edges. Base edge AB is already connected, BC is already connected. Now you need to connect, you need to check whether CD and ED is visible or not. Here ED is nearer to the observer, the edge ED is nearer to the observer, so obviously it will be visible. Similarly, DC is visible. Then we need to check for a slant edges. We already connected the base points. Now we need to check for a slant edges. O to D, it is nearer to the, already O to C is connected. The slant edge O to C is connected and O to E is connected. You need to check for the remaining slant edges, that is O to B, O to C and O to A. Here O to B. Okay, B is far away from the observer. Okay, here you can see this is the required condition. Okay, the pyramid is resting like this now. Okay, it is resting on A, axis inclined at 30 degrees to VP and 40 degrees to HP. Now the observer is looking from this side. Okay, so he will be able to see all the base edges. Okay, and he will be unable to see this edge O to B. Right. Here also you can observe O to B is far away from the observer. So OB is invisible, and also there is a dark line, that is a visible line. So no two visible lines should cross each other. So it should be a dotted line. Okay, and OD is visible. Connect O to D, and then O to A. Even O to A is invisible. Connect with the dotted line. Okay. So this is the required solution. You also need to connect the axis O to O1 and show it with the chain thin line. Okay. This completes the required solution.